way the ranked is, the way this works is when you win too many times in a row and you climb up a certain amount, your account gets flagged. They take you from this side and put you to this side, and now it's only with the dumbasses and the morons. So you lose, so you come back down just to keep you playing, man. Stop yapping. Sakran, don't defend Marvel Rivals devs like you're one of them or something. This is the truth, man. This is real shit right here. This is what they do. This is exactly what it's by design to keep you on the game longer. They want you to continue climbing. So the only way out is you have to just fucking absolutely hard carry. Look, we've lost like so many times in a row now where we'll start to get wins. And they'll be easy. Guys, these wins are going to be fucking cheese, man. Like, I'm cutting right through them like Swiss cheese, man. I'm going to be shitting all over these motherfuckers, man. How's he doing it? He LeBron, oh my God. You know what I mean? Watch. And then we're going to hit a wall. A wall. And it's just going to be just morons, man. I'm fucking team.
So I was originally going to ignore a lot of this narrative going on about ranked being rigged and you can't climb because the rank system is stacked against you, because there's always a group of people that believe this no matter what competitive game. And on this channel, I promote getting better and improving, so I didn't think it was going to be an issue. But after a lot of mainstream people have endorsed this mindset, people have been popping in my streams all the time saying, oh, I can't climb out of this rank because of EOMM or the rank system. Now, I've been through this before. We've played these games before, as I've been coaching games for the past almost 7 years now, and I've been hearing kind of the same narrative about the rank system being rigged in Valorant, in Halo, in Overwatch, but it was a little different in Rivals, and there's a lot of players from all kinds of games in Rivals. So I wanted to do my research, and I want to speak definitively about the rank system, and ultimately give you my strong arguments for why this is a terrible mindset, it's not true, and it just holds you back from becoming what you actually could be. And we're actually going to start with the former Riot ranked dev lead, Evermore. And this guy's a titan of the industry and ran the ranked competitive systems for many games, including Valorant and Halo. So he really knows his stuff. He's a definitive expert. And he responded to the clip that was posted of Nick Mercs talking about this win and loss system that is designed to keep you playing. And he said this, quote, I wrote on how losers and winners queue is impossible, but this is also counter to getting people to play more. The bigger the skill gap, creating unfair matches, the more likely you are to quit. Fair matchmaking makes players play more, not win-loss trading. And he linked a video in there from Halo 5 that I went and watched, and it was lessons from engagement that were found after research and data analysis from the rank system in Halo 5 and learning what made people leave and play depending on what kind of rank system you had. Now, basically, the findings, the higher the gap in skill, the more likely players are to quit playing. And it's in any rank system's best interest to make the matches as fair as possible. Now, you might be like, aha, Mills, that's the thing. They're making these matches fair, and that means that you can never win. You're going to be stuck at the same rank forever. And actually, no, that's not what that means at all. What that means is that the system determines you at a certain skill level, aka your rank, and it's going to try to put you in a lobby that matches that skill level at about a 50 versus 50% win rate on both sides. And that means that if you are someone that can go above and beyond and outperform what the rank system believes you are currently, you will win and you will rank up. Now, does that mean you'll win every game? No, but it does mean you can prove the system wrong. It's only giving a speculation about what you are to try to create a fair match, and you are the one that actually has to play it out and prove it to be right or wrong and over or underperform in that match. Now, granted, when you're on giant win streaks or loss streaks, the rank system is a bit more skeptical that they are right about where you belong, because there is a built-in amount of variance when it's 6v6. You're only one person out of 6 people on your team, so you might be carried some games. They might be wrong on multiple people. You get the picture. Now, you might be like, Mills, why do I go on win and loss streaks then? Why, if I'm good, or why, if I'm at this rank, why do I go on 5 loss streaks into 5 win streaks? There's obviously losers and winners queue. It's obviously trying to give me wins when I feel like I'm gonna quit, whatever. That's the only thing that justifies the variance, but that's not true at all, because you got to understand that the more you win, the better the system thinks you are, and the more it wants to test how good you are perceived to be inside the system. So let's say you win a lot. it's gonna give you a game that you might be a fish out of water in. It's a game that either your teammates are not quite as good and you're the person that is gonna be the best person in the lobby, or it's going to be a game where you are legitimately against good or great people on both sides, and it's seeing if you are also a good or great person. Now, this is because it's determining you to be a better player, and the more streaks you go on, the more the rank system determines that you might actually be a better player. That's pretty obvious. If you do better, you're better, and if you do worse, you're worse, or at least that's the only thing the system can decide. Are you a better or worse player? It's just trying to figure out how good you are. That's all a rank system is trying to do. Now, you might be saying, okay, there's these bots on my team. When I start winning, I get these absolute bots on my team. They can't be in my rank because, you know, they're just kind of sent here to give me a loss. It's obvious that the rank system wants me to lose here. Well, guess what? These players are in your rank. They're in your rank. They're literally in your rank or only slightly away from your rank. And you gotta understand that just because someone plays like a bot in one game, that doesn't mean that they are always a bot. People are crazy inconsistent, yourself included. Sometimes you just have people that fit the perfect comp on your team. Like you have 2 great tanks, 2 great DPS, 2 great supports, all just magically put on the same team. The system is not going to filter people based on their mains. So you might just get a team where you have like 5 support mains on the same team, or, you know, tank players that play the exact same tank, and then they're filling to a tank they're not as good at. That can happen. And that's just variance that you just literally cannot control. There's also situations where you're filling or you're being forced to fill and then you're losing, and that's a game where you didn't really get to show what you're fully capable of. But if you just forced your main, you're gonna lose that game anyways. So yeah, it's artificial inconsistency as well. And then there's like map differences. Some characters are better or worse on different maps. And there's also situations where you get shut down or not shut down. Let me give you this example. There are Spider-Men at every rank. Even all the way up in top 500, there are people that play Spider-Man or try to one-trick Spider-Man, right? But me being a Bucky player, I play Bucky, I main Bucky, Spider-Man is never giving me a problem. I think it's a very polarizing matchup where Winter Soldier has like an 80% win rate or 80% favorable matchup against Spider-Man. You can cancel his ultimate. He's never going to be able to combo you because you have too much health, and you can cancel his combo with your melee, whatever, right? You really body a Spider-Man, right? And that's just random. The randomness is sometimes that Spider-Man is going to go up against a Bucky player or a Namor player that is really capable of shutting him down very, very easily. And sometimes he's not. And maybe in the games he's not shut down, he pops off and literally carries the game. But in the games he is shut down, he's either really inefficient as Spider-Man or he's forced to fail to a character he's nowhere near as good at. And that same person that could absolutely deadlift one game is being completely shot out another game. And similar to how you're calling other people bots, there are games where you're either filling or being shut down that you're the bot in other people's quote-unquote story, and they're thinking that you're the one that is being thrown on their team because they're winning too much. It's kind of funny because everyone thinks it, but it also is going to be you. Now, the other major argument towards this is, why are you gaining more than you lost? You can just keep playing because you're gaining more than you lose. You know, you're gaining 25 and you're only losing 18. So, of course, you're going to end up in a higher rank. The rank system is rigged and broken. Well, you got to understand that the rank system is determining that you belong in a certain rank based on how you're playing, based on somewhat your stats, especially in the lower ranks, and really trying to find where you belong. And this is also in conjunction with the fact that rank has not stopped moving. And what I mean by that is the top 99% right now is probably like Grandmaster, like mid-high Grandmaster. Well, at the start of the season, it was all the way down in Plat. Think about this. I have a basically 50% win rate, slightly higher than 50% win rate this season, but I'm all the way in Celestial too. Now, at the end of last season, I was in Eternity and I got D-ranked all the way down to Plat. And in my second game on day 1, I went up against Gale and Mace, which are like top 10 players. So it wouldn't make sense for me to have a super high win rate in order to climb back to the rank that I was previously. Because the entire time I'm playing against the exact same players that I played against before. If it was judging me super harshly based on wins and losses, then I would maybe just be stuck in frickin' Plat, like the entire time, and I would never improve. So they have to do this, but once you get to a certain rank, it stops, and it's gonna stop even more when the ranks stop moving. So eventually people are gonna kind of top out. Eternity is gonna stabilize. It's probably gonna be like 1% or maybe a 0.5% in Eternity, and then people are gonna stop moving because the ranks are gonna stop expanding, and then you'll probably stabilize a bit. After you're in a rank for a certain amount of time, the ranks will stabilize. I will tell you right now, in my Celestial games, I'm gaining and losing about the same. Sometimes I gain a little bit more. Sometimes I lose a little bit more. So it's different depending on how the game goes. But yeah, it's not happening anymore like it was happening back down in Plat and Diamond. I'm not gaining a lot more than I'm losing anymore. Another part to this is the fact that Grandmaster is not the same Grandmaster. Like, I think a lot of people talk about this argument because they say, hey, everyone's in Grandmaster now, or I've seen that argument being made. Getting to Grandmaster is an achievement, and I don't want to minimize that achievement to anybody. So that's not what this is for. This is just an argument directed towards people that are using this as justification that the rank system is broken. Grandmaster is not the same as it was because Celestial has basically widened the gap. Now Celestial is at least half of former Grandmaster, if not the entirety of former Grandmaster. And this might become outdated by the time you're seeing this video. Everything is constantly moving. And I would imagine by the end of the season, while Grandmaster right now is a pretty reasonably high percentile, it might be a lot lower of a percentile by the end of the season once, you know, Celestial gets completely filled out. And then Eternity is also filled out quite a bit more than it is right now. Where like right now, there's not a crazy amount of players in Eternity. Now, where did this EOMM thing even come from? And a lot of people cite it directly from NetEase themselves because they had a presentation 4 years ago where they did a deep dive into their EOMM framework for other games. And it was an incredibly long documentation and presentation about researching matchmaking and how to build the most optimized matchmaking. And they said simply, in our work, we simplify the computation by adopting the assumption that fair games lead to better player experience. Now, you can go read this yourself. I'll put the link in the description down below. But overall, they have claimed that having fair matches is always the goal, and trying to create fair matches actually creates the highest amount of retention. And that's what they want to do. They want to make things as even and as fair as possible. Now, there is one sentence in here, and this is the whole justification that people use for the fact that there is EOMM in Marvel Rivals and that it ruins the entire competitive experience. And they said this: give tiny advantages to the desperate, fatigued players during matchmaking if possible. For example, choose the win rate of 51% instead of 49% matchmaking proposals for those players. Now, what does this actually mean? Now, what this means is that if you're on a giant loss streak, let's say you've lost 5 in a row, what this would mean if this was implemented is that instead of giving you a perfectly 50-50 match, which they can't always do, by the way, it's always going to be variances above and below 50% because you can't always have a perfectly balanced lobby. It kind of depends on how many people are playing and stuff like that, but you can't always have it perfectly balanced, so they just try. And then if you're more inclined to win, they'll give you slightly less rank. And if you're less inclined to win, they'll give you slightly more rank. That's how rank systems work in general, because you can't always have perfectly balanced games. There's too much variance and too many different players of varying skill levels. Now, once again, if implemented, what this is saying is that they would rather you get the lobby that you are slightly advantaged in versus slightly disadvantaged in if you're on a giant lose streak, because no one wants to lose freaking 10 in a row. Now, I'm going to explain why this is completely irrelevant even if it was implemented. I actually think it would probably be good if it was implemented, but we have no proof it's implemented at all. This was written by NetEase employees literally 4 years ago, and it has zero mention about Marvel Rivals. It was before we were even talking about Marvel Rivals, or maybe even the game was even in development. So like, what are we talking about here? We're just saying, hey, they did a paper on this one optimized matchmaking thing where they mentioned this one thing one time out of a giant hour-long presentation, and they just slightly mentioned it, didn't even say it was the thing they wanted to implement, and now you're just assuming it's in Rivals. I think that people are taking like 10 jumps here without any proof or really even any inclination that this is implemented, and I think people just want to believe what they want to believe. But let's just say you're right. Let's just say that this is implemented what they said, which is give tiny advantages to the desperate, fatigued players during matchmaking if possible. For example, choose the win rate of 51% instead of 49% matchmaking proposals for those players. This is actually a fine thing. It doesn't prevent you from climbing, because all this does is if you're on a loss streak, it's give you a lobby that you are slightly advantaged in on paper. Now, if you win that lobby, they'll take that into account. They'll say, okay, you are not going to get quite as much rank as you would have normally gotten because this game was already stacked in your favor slightly. And if you lose in a situation where you were slightly disadvantaged, you're going to lose slightly less rank because this was not stacked in your favor, right? That's the whole idea. And once again, there's a crazy amount of variance. There's a crazy amount of things you can't control. There's inconsistencies on both teams, and you yourself can just play that slight percentage better. You can be better. You could be a better player. You could still win. And I promise you that this is not holding you back, because it doesn't hold anyone back, because no one is being held back by the rank system in Marvel Rivals at all. And I have proof to that as well. You see, I've coached quite a few players already in the academy, and also just generally on stream, we've did quite a bit of coaching. And I have not seen a single player that belongs in a massively different rank than the rank they're in. I've reviewed a lot of players. I looked at a lot of players' games. I never have seen like, hey, you deserve freaking Grandmaster and you're in gold. Not a single time. I've reviewed so many players, and these are the same conversations I had with Overwatch players. I literally did a series in Overwatch reviewing players that think they deserve a higher rank, and I think in like hundreds of VOD reviews, I found like one player that I thought deserved a higher rank. And guess what? They climbed very quickly afterwards to the rank, right? And I'll tell you something else. I've been getting more messages in Celestial of people that are saying stuff like, you're why I'm here. Your guides have helped me. My GOAT. These are people that are in the highest ranks of play that feel like they have improved and got out of being stuck out of a certain rank because of the help that I have given through my videos and through my coaching. And I have a lot of people in the academy and even just privately on stream message me that they have also improved after being taught certain strategies. So you got to understand that regardless of any rank system, any craziness, any teammates, any inconsistency, if you become a better player, you will improve. I don't care what Nick Merck says. I don't care what any of these people say. It doesn't hold you back. These players just need to look inward and get better. And once again, this is just an extension of people looking for something else to blame. I talk all the time about the thing that is holding you back from climbing is that you're looking outward and not inward. You're looking at people. You're looking at this person and that person and your teammates. But even here, you're not even looking at your teammates. You're looking at the rank system and saying this rank system is the problem. It can't be me. It has to be the rank system or my teammates or anything. The weather. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be overly toxic or really be patronizing or anything like that here, right? I want to do this because it's not a good mindset to have in anything, not even just in games, but in life. You will not improve unless you take personal accountability. And I tell you this as someone that was stuck thousands of hours, literally thousands of hours, by the way, in low ranks in Overwatch with a chip on my shoulder. I literally had the biggest chip on my shoulder. I could not climb. I could not improve. I constantly blamed other people. And it wasn't until I watched some people, I watched some guides, I watched some creators speak transparently and directly to me and tell me I need to take accountability. It's not other people's fault. It's not the rank system's fault. It's not my teammates' fault. It's not anything's fault besides myself that I got rid of the chip on my shoulder, locked in, started climbing, started getting better, got good enough to become a coach, became a professional coach, and now am doing this full time. Like literally, this mindset could have changed my entire life. If I did not evolve and change my mindset, my life would be so much different. And now I'm living the dream, in large part thanks to you and the community. I really appreciate y'all. But I also want to say that I would never be here if I didn't change my mindset. I would never, ever be here. I would be that same person that was always looking outward and never blaming myself for the losses in life and the losses in game. So finally, how do you actually climb? How do you get to the rank that you want to get if you're stuck? Number one is get better, improve. You get better and you will deserve a higher rank and you will get to that higher rank. And this means proving the system wrong. Just because the system believes you deserve a rank doesn't mean that you have to play like that rank. And if you're consistently overperforming, you will get the rank that matches that overperformance. And of course, we need to make impactful plays. We need to make less mistakes. And you need to play enough matches as the best player on both teams. Remember, you are the constant. You are the only thing you can control. And that's the way to climb. And just like the thousands of people we've already helped and the thousands more we will, including you, you can do it. I believe in you. Just don't give in to this EOMM, this ranked winners, losers queue nonsense. None of that helps you. Regardless of accuracy or not, it's not holding you back. But anyways, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below and let me know if you have any questions. Special thanks, y'all, for being here. I really appreciate y'all guys and thank you so much. And I hope to see you next time.